Ernst Barkmann was born in Kiesdorf, which is the Holstein region of Germany, and he grew up as a farmer, a lot like Michael Wittmann did, and joined the SS in 1936, and started the war in Poland, where he wasn't a tank commander, he was a machine gunner, and he was actually wounded during the invasion, and was awarded the Wound Badge in Black, kind of like a Purple Heart for the Germans. So he was out of action for a while, and he made it into the Battle of France, where he was in a lot of close combat actions, basically hand-to-hand combat, stuff like that, and he was cited for a reward for that, for the Close Infantry Assault Badge. But that's about all that happened in France. When Operation Barbarossa began, he was deployed there, and he was a gunner for a Panzer Mark III with the KWK 3850 millimeter, which is a really nice gun. It works really great on everything. Short of heavy armor, very versatile, and he did really well as a gunner. And they decided to give him his own Panzer III. And during like the vast, in the beginning of Barbarossa, the Germans were just taking land, just unbelievable amount of progress. They advanced up to a couple of 100 kilometers in a day in some cases. The Russians just weren't expecting anything from the Germans. They had a pact going. They should have known better than to trust Hitler. Yeah, he did really well there in Barbarossa, and then finally, after Stalingrad and then the Battle of Kursk, he was finally given his Panzer Kampfwagen Mark V Panther. And well, once Ernst Barkmann was linked up with this vehicle, there was really no stopping him. And after the Battle of Kursk, he was deployed west to meet the expected invasion from the Allied invasion of France. And this is where things get really funny. The invasion, as everybody knows, was the 6th of June 1944 at Normandy, and the Germans believed without any question, adamantly, that the real invasion would take place at the Pas de Calais. It was basically a hop, skip, and a jump from London, and it was just so close. And getting the amount of materials and men across there would be a lot safer. They wouldn't have to worry about submarines, air attacks, whatever. But of course, everybody knows the real attack went at Normandy. But even after June 6th, most of the German high command didn't even believe. They thought it was a diversion, that the real invasion was coming. And at the time, Ernst Barkmann and his Panther group were far away in southeastern France, and or no, I'm sorry, northwestern France, close to the Pas de Calais, and they were not allowed to dispatch their units, any of the Waffen SS tank units. They were all held in reserve by Hitler, because he believed that, like I say, the real invasion was coming at Calais, and they held them back. And having armor at Normandy would have been a complete disaster for us. it would have just been a massacre, especially shortly after the landings when people start moving equipment and stuff on shore. But they just weren't there. There were just no tanks there. And it took Barkmann a month after D-Day to get his ass to Normandy. And yeah, it's it's probably the biggest blunder on the German side in the whole invasion was this believing that it was going to come somewhere else. So after that, after the invasion, he was relocated close to where the Ardennes forest is, which is where the Ardennes offensive took place. But this was much later in the year and towards the winter. And he was actually injured really bad on Christmas Day for the third time. And he spent a long time in hospital, I think about a month. And very shortly after he got out of the hospital, he got back in his Panther tank and he went back west. And he met a group of British armored column, and his tank was disabled, and he proceeded west to the British lines and surrendered. So he did survive the war. And my God, the guy got injured 3 times. He has the wound badge in black, in silver, and in gold. At one time, at his second injury, he spent 6 months in hospital, convalescing. I gotta say, if I was quote-unquote injured, and I mean, when they say injured in war, I mean, they're not talking about lacerations or a broken bone or something like that. I mean, we're talking injured. And I can't imagine the kind of trauma. I mean, probably a lot of burns, shrapnel. Can you imagine having lead stuck in you? But this guy keeps coming back and back and back and back again. And after the war, he went back home to Kisdorf, where he became a long time fire chief. And towards his latter years, he actually became the mayor of Kisdorf. And so yeah, that's basically everything about I know about Ernst Barkmann. Making this video has been the hardest video I've ever had to make by far. I've taken about 2 weeks trying to piece this together, trying to get all my information. It's been extremely hard. I had no problem getting all the information that I wanted for Michael Wittmann, but Ernst Barkmann was another story altogether. I had, and then I had the stuff that I had pieced together. I tried writing it all down, making notes and stuff like that. I spent a long time with this vid, but finally got it done. And I think I'm going to move on to, like, I've done a lot of Flames of War unboxings now. Now I'm going to try something a little different, probably in the 25mm scale, something like that, or some of the Ral Partha Dungeons and Dragons miniatures that I kind of cut my teeth on. So yeah, let's just do this unboxing now of Ernst Barkmann, see what's in here. And another thing, after about a week ago, I decided, like, this video shouldn't just be about Barkmann, but be about the Panther. So then I was like, oh geez, now I got to almost like prepare another video entirely on the Panther, but I got that down pretty streamlined. So here's Ernst Barkmann's Panther D. A very big hull. Like I said in videos before, it's classified as a medium tank. but try explaining that to the Sherman tank commanders, and they'll tell you it's no medium tank. She's 50 tons fully loaded. This is probably without a doubt the best tank of the Second World War. Not because it has the thickest armor or the biggest gun or the best chassis or suspension. It has everything. This is a very fast tank. Well, it's fast for its size, and its armor thickness is very revolutionary. The Tiger 1, the Wittmann's Tiger, for instance, has flat armor like this in the front, in the mantlet, 100 millimeters thick, which is pretty much impenetrable, with the exception of maybe the 17-pounder on the British side. The Panther, however, has 80 millimeters of armor. So right away you think, okay, the Tiger's got 80, this has got, or the Tiger's got 100, this has got 80, so Tiger's better armored. Well, not really. In actuality, the front armor of the Panthers is much much harder to punch through than the Tiger's 100 millimeter, and the reason is this: the 80 millimeters of armor right here has been sloped at 55 degrees, which increases if you draw it out on a graph, on a piece of graph paper, and you take you know, a segment and then turn it 55 degrees. What you'll find is that the projectile is going to have to pass through more than 80 millimeters of armor. In fact, it's going to have to pass through, where it's sloped like this, it's going to increase the thickness that it's going to have to go through. So it actually is more along the lines of 120 millimeters of armor to get through before you can get inside the tank. And the other factor here is probably the best feature of this tank, is the fact that this sloping armor, all incoming fire, most incoming fire that hits off here is going to be deflected away from the tank. It's, you know, it's just going to bounce, skim off almost. It's going to get a piece of that thick armor, and then it's just going to go like that. And if you ever played Company of Heroes, and you got yourself a Panther or two Panthers, and they can have about 50 Hellcats or Shermans. They can punch and punch and punch, and it just bounces off like ping pong balls. The side armor on a Panther wasn't all that hot though. Only 2 inches of armor on the side. Now with the armor skirt Schertzen, that might have added a lot of armor to that. The main idea of the Schertzen is actually not so much for tank defense as it is for infantry, anti-tank infantry defense, being shape charge projectiles like the Panzerfaust, the Panzerschreck, the American bazooka, the British Piat. And basically what it does, and this type of thing is actually still in use today, like on the Merkava tank, the Israeli Merkava, has a different version of it. It's on the turret and on the sides. It looks different, but it's basically the same idea. It's that to break, I mean, it won't, the side armor skirts won't absorb all of it, but it'll absorb enough of it that it won't have enough punch to get through that 2 inches of armor. So, and the back armor is like almost sloped too in reverse, so deflect away from the tank too. I'm not sure how thick it is in back. Probably not very thick, 30, 40 millimeters maybe at the most. So yeah, the Panther had the Trinity going for it. The Trinity being mobility, firepower, and armor protection. Another really cool feature that the Panther tank had that often goes unnoted is the fact of its revolutionary suspension system. The Panther, unlike the Tiger, could fire on the move while it's moving. The Tiger could not do that because if it did, the recoil from the 88mm gun would blast out through the back of the turret. This one could do it. This one could fire on the move, but the really cool thing about the Panther's suspension was that it had stability. The Panther could go over about 30 miles an hour over train tracks, and just this undercarriage just going crazy, and the whole time the barrel is stationary. The barrel does not move, and that was very revolutionary. It's something that the Abrams has today, the M1A1 Abrams. Now the Abrams is a lot more advanced, but it's basically the same idea. And we can't talk about the Panther and not talk about the KWK-42, or if you prefer L70, 75mm cannon. This baby is huge. The 75mm. I mean, the Sherman's 75mm and the German 75mm. I mean, I don't have to tell you how different the two are. The 75mm here is about 8.5 feet, if I remember correctly. This barrel, which is extraordinarily long. The longer the barrel, the more pressure is going to build up from all that gunpowder, and the longer that projectile has to go down that rifle barrel, the more pressure is going to build up and finally come at the end. Another advantage, where all tank guns are rifled, the barrels have been rifled, it will put more spin on the cannon round and make it more accurate, and it'll go farther. 2,000 yards effective with this gun, no problem. It's the predecessor to my favorite anti-tank gun, the KWK-43. This one came just a little bit before, but they're very similar. They look a lot alike. Yeah. So yeah, here's your tank hull, turret. It's a big tank, very big tank, and we've got a truck. That's about all I know about that. And got our tracks, big ol' pewter tracks, weigh about half a ton. There's some those things that go over the front of the tracks, the armor, basic stuff, you know the routine. Oh yeah, look at the size of that armor skirt. Well, that's a big one. Oh yeah, it looked nice. An engine. It's a Panther engine, V12 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it goes with the base for the truck. Pretty cool. Bonus. Oh yes, look what they gave me. 2 rare earth magnets. My only 2. I went to my hobby store and they're clean out. Totally fresh out. So that's cool. Still got to figure out how to drill a hole in here. Get it in there. Like, I don't know what I'm going to use for that. I don't have a screwdriver or a Dremel or nothing, so might be a while before I can magnetize my figures. So yeah, basic stuff. Barkmann, some dude, stuff, box, foam. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, Ernst Barkmann was part of the 2nd SS Panzer Division Das Reich. And I found out something the other day that blew my mind. The 2nd SS alone, the 2nd SS Panzer Division alone, destroyed 3,000 tanks. 3,000. One division. Keep bearing in mind that there are 33 different SS Panzer Divisions. Unbelievable. It's no wonder that these guys are considered elite. That's a lot of tanks. I mean, they made 10,000 Shermans, but understand that many of them went to Great Britain, many of them went to Canada, many of them went to Russia. So I would estimate that maybe the Americans had anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 at their disposal for just them. I would think the rest would have been divided up with the Allies under the Lend-Lease. So, like, and then just one Panzer Division could take out every American Sherman ever made. That's something. So, I think that's it. I've had a hell of a time at this one. This vid has been a real hard one to do. So many bad takes, and oh god, but I finally got it done, I guess. Yeah. So that's about it. Next time, oh yeah, I'm still making progress on my 3 projects. I'm working on a 72nd scale. I'm working on a 25 millimeter, and the Sherman, of course. And it's taking me forever because I do a bit on each. But the good news is once I finish one, the other 2 will come really quick. So hopefully that will get done really soon. So hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a really hard one to get my thoughts together and all my information. One last thing, I searched everywhere. I searched all my books. I searched you know, all my encyclopedia. And I even went on Wikipedia, and I could not for the life of me find out how many kills Ernst Barkmann racked up. I couldn't find it anywhere. So if you can find out how many kills this guy racked up, I'd really like to know that, because I just could not find it. So that's another 23 minutes of your time taken up. So hope you enjoyed it. It's been a tough one. So yeah, I'm gonna mix it up a little next time and do something a little different. Have a great one.